Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by deep forests and silver lakes, lived a kind and gentle princess named Rumi. She had beautiful long golden hair and pretty looks. She was loved by her people for her generosity and admired for her beauty. But what set her apart most was her heart. Unlike other royals, Rumi often walked among the villagers, listening to their worries and helping them in whatever way she could. She tended to the sick, comforted the lonely, and even taught the children how to read under the shade of the old oak tree in the palace gardens. But not everyone admired the princess. In the dark corners of the kingdom lived a sorceress named Morwenna. She despised kindness, for she thrived on envy and hatred. To her, Rumi's goodness was an unbearable reminder of all she lacked. For many years, Morwenna plotted to find a way to harm the princess. And one moonlit night, she found her chance. Rumi often wandered to the edge of the royal lake, where the swans swam gracefully in the still waters. The princess loved the birds dearly, often feeding them crumbs and talking to them as if they were her friends. One night, as she bent to feed the swans, Morwenna appeared from the shadows, her cloak darker than the night sky. With a chant and a wave of her staff, she cast a terrible spell. "You think your kindness makes you strong," Morwenna hissed. "But let us see how kind you remain when you live the life of a swan." In an instant, Rumi's arms turned into wings. Her voice faded into a cry, and her reflection in the water no longer showed a young woman, but a white swan. The sorceress laughed cruelly before vanishing into the mist. At first, Rumi panicked. She flapped her wings helplessly, splashing in the water. But as the moon rose higher, she calmed herself and realized that she could still think, still feel, and still hope. She was trapped, but she was not lost. Days passed, and Rumi learned to live among the swans. She glided over the water with grace she had never known before. Yet her heart ached whenever she saw her parents searching along the lake's edge, calling her name with worried voices. They did not know the beautiful swan before them was their beloved daughter. She longed to cry out, but only soft calls escaped her beak. One day, a young prince named Adrian came hunting in the forest near the lake. Unlike most hunters, Adrian was not cruel. He admired animals, and when he saw the white swan swimming alone, he lowered his bow. Something in her eyes caught his attention. They glowed with sadness, yet also with hope. He returned to the lake day after day, speaking gently to the swan as though she could understand. In time, a bond grew between them. Unknown to Adrian, the villagers had whispered of a curse that only true compassion could break. They said that if someone recognized the swan's true heart and vowed to protect her, the spell might be undone. Adrian did not know these tales, but his heart guided him. One evening, as the sun painted the sky with golden light, Adrian spoke softly to the swan. "I don't know why, but when I look into your eyes, I feel as though you are more than you seem. If you are lost, I promise I will not rest until I help you find your way back." At that moment, the lake shimmered with magic. Rumi's form began to change. Her feathers melted into fabric, her wings into arms, and before Adrian stood the princess herself, more radiant than ever. The spell was broken. Overjoyed, Rumi explained everything to Adrian, who listened in awe. Word of her return spread quickly through the kingdom, and the people rejoiced. The king and queen embraced their daughter with tears of relief, thanking Adrian for his kindness and courage. But Rumi did not forget the lessons she had learned as a swan. She had seen the world through different eyes, had felt the fragility of life, and had understood the importance of being both gentle and strong. From then on, she ruled not only as a princess, but as a guardian of all living things. She made the lake a protected place where no hunter could harm its creatures, and every year she visited the swans, who had become like family to her. As for Adrian, He and Rumi grew close, bound by the strange but magical journey they had shared. In time, they married, and together they ruled with kindness, ensuring the kingdom thrived in peace and happiness. Morwenna, the sorceress, was never seen again. Some say she fled, fearing the strength of goodness she could no longer overcome. Others whisper she remained, hiding in the shadows, waiting for envy to rise again. But Rumi no longer feared her. She had faced darkness, lived as a swan, and returned stronger than ever. And so the story of the princess, who turned into a swan, was told for generations. Children listened with wide eyes by the fireside, learning that true kindness and compassion hold more power than the darkest of curses. For in every heart that is pure lies a magic that no sorcery can destroy. And that's all for today's story. If you liked it, click the like button below and leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any new video. See you next time.